Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst Emmanuel Malabite Efeni. Good morning.
Good morning, Ruben. Good morning, Ayo.
Good morning.
Welcome back, Rufai Oseni.
Megwasa.
Yes, Rufai without L.
Yes, sir. Megwasa.
I hope you had a nice time out there.
Try.
Not only observing the inflation in the UK.
Now
We'll start the review with this day. Nigeria's newspaper of record, the lead story. Buhari orders immediate suspension of Adamawa wreck. Directs IG police to prosecute embattled officer if found liable. 6 investigation of DSS and SCDC officials. Falana Benani is culpable, should be investigated, insists her acceptance speech confirmed she was party to illegal announcement, urges NBC to sanction NTA for airing her acceptance speech. Yes, of course, contrary to what the Minister of Information was saying, that the president has no business with what was happening in Adamawa. Yes, the president, as the appointing authority, has ordered the immediate suspension of the Adamawa wreck. The Udu Hari. Ruben, you have added another one to our political lexicon, Uduism. Well, we'll see how far that will catch up in the political space. But it's a good thing the president has at least waded in one way or the other. But until we'll see those involved having their day in the court, will not rest. But of course, Femi Falana, senior advocate of Nigeria, drawing the attention of Nigerians to the fact that Benani must be culpable, having prepared and read an acceptance speech to that illegal announcement. And of course, he did not spare words for the NTA, the national, the state-owned television station that aired that acceptance speech. Because clearly, of course, we were expecting the NBC to act immediately, as it has been doing when it involves channels or Arise News. But this time, we saw the NBC chilly-challing, dilly-dallying, not even acting immediately. Because for NTA to air that that acceptance speech is being accessory to the fact of a fake news, fake result, an announcement by unauthorized person announcing that needs no. Of course, we expected the NBC to act, but well, maybe the NBC is investigating, unlike in other cases where the NBC don't give private television stations the opportunity of fair hearing. The other day, something happened in the dead of the night. By the time I arrived office, I saw an NBC letter delivered to me, and it was quoting something that happened after 12 midnight. I said, do these people ever sleep? Well, but we did not see that kind of action on this matter. But let's just move on. The Vanguard newspaper also reporting the story, Buhari okay suspension of Adamawa wreck prosecution if INEC denies meeting with Adamawa government officials to rig polls. Now, it has become a matter of accusation and counter-accusation, but we know what happened. Somebody who had no authority announced a fake result without figures, and that is what we are dealing with. That is the crux of the matter. And until that man is brought to book, then we must be joking. Now, the Nigerian Tribune also reporting that story, Adamawa poll, Buhari approved suspension. Now, the Punch newspaper, Sudan conflict, 1,262 Nigerian students demand evacuation, 330 residents killed in the battle that is happening in Sudan between warlords and persons who are not supposed to be in power, because these are military men who don't want democracy to thrive in that country, and in their personal greed, they have plunged that nation into an all-out conflict, as it were. But Nigerian students who are there must be secured. The government must take action to evacuate these students before things get out of hand. That will be very difficult to bring back the students home safely. Now, the Daily Sun newspaper, why Buhari is after me, Ortom, president against me over anti-grazing law. And of course, the Daily Independent newspaper also reporting Ortom, Buhari failed woefully in securing Nigeria. Ortom says president endorses insecurity killings in Benue, emboldened Fulani pastoralists in their expansionist agenda. I remember after the passing of that anti-grazing law, and we thought the president would do something differently and ask people to do cattle rearing the modern way, the way it is done, best practices across the world. But the president was looking for, asked people to search for old grazing routes. That in itself was just out of tune with modern times. But we'll just move on to the Guardian newspaper. Despite express centers, corruption, racketeering, hobble passport application process. Well, the Nigerian Customs Service Immigration Service rather, need to do a lot of explanation that people will have to wait for 6 months to get international passport. If you want to renew your old passport, it's just as tedious. The Minister of Internal Affairs, Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, and the boss at the customs, they must do something about this. It does not tell well about the country, because Nigerians who live abroad also pass through hell to renew their passports. It's unacceptable. Now, the leadership newspaper, Leadership Friday, they call it, on a day like this, 39 days to go. Military dismisses threats of bandit attacks on May 29. Says there will be smooth transition, denies supporting headers killing in Benue. Asks intelligence agency to expose terrorism financiers. Yes, that clamor is still there. The New Telegraph newspaper, Salah transition. DSS foils planned attack on northern state. NAP gunman in Kanu. IGP orders tight security nationwide. Military intelligence community will contain threats to peace, Defense Headquarters is saying. Now, the Business Day newspaper, renewable energy seen, giving SMEs edge, post-petrol subsidy. Yes, when people will find alternative. Necessity is the mother of all invention. You've been depending so much on petrol, and the price keep going up to run your generator. Then you have to look for alternative. There are cheaper alternatives on the long run. Now, Ruben, Ayo, and Rufai Oseni, you're welcome once again.
Well, we don't seem to have time. Just to add by way of a footnote to the story you raised about the NBC, so that it doesn't get interpreted as sour grapes. It's not sour grapes.
No.
Femi Falana, SAN, who's the same view that in fact the role of the Nigeria Television Authority, NTA, should be investigated. And as of yesterday, he was calling on the NBC to sanction the NTA for going ahead to televise that illegal declaration. Another point Femi Falana SAN has made is that, in fact, the role of Binani herself should be investigated because she delivered an acceptance speech knowing that the collation of the results had not been concluded at that particular time. So it's not sour grapes.
No,
there are
not
others out there who are beginning to raise questions about the integrity of the NBC and its fair-mindedness, or what will look like double standards. Thank you very much, Emmanuel Efe.